時を止めて眠る恋人のハムルバラのしおりあげる戻るまで待ってて。
Alright, good evening ladies and gentlemen. Hope you can hear me loud and clear. Alright, so tonight we're going to be talking about some more Discord leaks, because why the fuck not? Um, Actually, no, a specific reason. Like, a lot of people have been, like, wanting, like, specific examples of, like, particular doxings and things like that going on. And we'll get into that with one Sphere's character, but there's a couple of other issues that we have to go over first, because this is kind of like this could be a bit of a longer one, because kind of got set up that way. Originally wanted it to be a bit shorter, but alright, enough rambling. So a lot's been happening this week. Like it's Ty's big week after all. I mean, Nick can't help himself but talk about the case all weekend. Oh wait, no, he's not talking about the case lately. He's talking about anything but the case. Oh, that's kind of weird, isn't it? Why is Nick changing the subject? Well, okay, apparently someone says I'm muted. Give me a second. No, I don't believe I'm muted at all. Other people can hear me. That was a good one, though. All right, so let's see. Let's see what Let's see what Nick has been talking about. Let's just get into that right away.
Clothes! Hey, look at those faggot-ass clothes! Faggot! Faggot! Fag! Fucking fag! My son's a fag.
Oh, boy. Oh, okay. Now, that is pretty funny. That is fucking hilarious. But what is it what we're listening to exactly? The thing is, what we're listening to there is, apparently some of the voice actors back in the day, back when Funimation was, making this Dragon Ball Z cartoon back in 2003, it was 16 years ago, so yeah. They were working on like bloopers and extras and stuff like that. Oh shoot. Okay, so alright, give me a second. Check something. Okay, sorry about that. Give me one moment, please. Okay, just had to fix something real quick. Now that's resolved. Continuing on. So Nick Rekieta has been talking about the Funimation leaks that happened, which are just basically a discard or blooper reel, essentially. Like every animation studio has done this. This isn't really all that big a deal. Nick's gone on about how this isn't family-friendly content. He's right, it isn't, but he's leaving out the fact that this was never released ever. Like, they had more of this stuff, and I'll show you, like, some of the stuff that Nick's played on his own show.
Not all of these are, like, offensive or anything, but remember that Dragon Ball Z in America had to change Mr. Satan's name to Hercule, okay? In America, this is a kid's show, and it's, and it was originally very much family-oriented. So, some of the stuff, like this clip of Krillin, for example. Who's Krillin? Sonny Strait, I think. This clip of Krillin isn't, like, particularly offensive. It's obviously much spicier than the show. Let's see what he says.
Yeah, I'm carrying a few extra pounds around myself. Not much time to work out. Keeping them happy is a full-time job. Especially that bitch on the right. God damn, are you trying to keep that bitch happy? It's impossible. I just give her food, I give her presents, I give her rings, I give her I'm sorry.
So there you go. This one's not very spicy. Again, the big one, of course, being at midnight. So don't crucify me just yet. Don't.
Yeah, so as you can hear, Nick himself admits that a lot of these aren't really all that offensive. The big one I already played is with Goku calling his son a faggot. Honestly, this is a nothing burger, because everyone makes edgy jokes in private, or all the time. Like, it's not that big a deal. Hell, I make them publicly on the show all the time. Nick publicly makes jokes like this. Like, he defends his use of blackface and using phrases like chimp out, which are no longer considered, which are not acceptable terms. I'm sorry, but it's socially autistic to think that being a racist and using racist language and having racist caricatures is okay. So at the end of the day, the whole Funy leaks, at least when Nick's talking about them, they don't matter. It's funny to see people spurg out about it, I guess, and stuff, but here's the thing. I see people unironically supporting this. Like, what I mean by that is they're unironically devolving into, like, politically correct social justice warriors. They're taking articles written by gay outlets or liberal outlets that are complaining about my homophobia, my incest jokes, my jokes are triggering and problematic. How Funimation's doing this. Oh, this is terrible. This has nothing to do with Vic at all. This is just some petty dirt that Nick has dug up, and has nothing to do with the case at all. And anyone saying otherwise is dumb. Like, there's just no way this relates to it. I guess we could listen to a few more of those clips. No, it's not even worth it. That's just one example of one thing that Nick's been talking about. But there's another thing that Nick's been talking about that's a little bit more interesting. It's a bit more relevant to the character that we're talking about tonight. And there's a reason why Nick's not talking about the case. The reason why Nick's not talking about the case is because Ty Beard has proven over and over again to be an incompetent lawyer. He is so incompetent that it gives me full confidence that he's going to lose the case entirely. Like, I know Nick and Ty have been funny, saying, haha, every time someone says we will lose the case, that means we lost the case. That's not how that works. When people say he's going to lose the case is going to be thrown out. It's going to be declared by the judge to be frivolous. And that means that Nick lied to all of you when he said the Nick case had a chance. Like, Nick likes to pretend the law is this magic ball that can be whatever you want it to be, so long as you make the right argument in court. It isn't. There's clear-cut rules and precedents that you have to follow. You can't just do whatever you want in court and expect it to work. This would, like, no other field will allow this. The law doesn't allow this either. And if you trust Nick's word on things, you're an idiot. There's just no other way to explain it. Because Nick is a for-profit entertainer. He has shifted his role in this multiple times, going from a lawyer to a journalist to all other kinds of crazy things under the sun. And there's no trust in the guy. The guy gets basic things about the law incorrect. But we're not going to focus on that too much tonight. You can go ahead and look at actual case law yourself in the meantime, because we will be going over that in the shows yet to follow. So something else I want to look. The next thing I guess I want to look at is the other thing that Nick's focused on this week. Something involving one of the defendants and prior abuse allegations. Let's just get to a clip of that.
What is this? In the matter of the marriage of Redacted and Ronald J. Toye III. Uh-oh. Would this be the affidavit of the ex-wife of Ronald Toye in their divorce, in which she is begging the court to impose a restraining order against the abusive monster that is Ron Toye? Every fucking time with these male feminist beta weasels. Every single time. Every fucking time. Run out champion of women. What do they do the moment they have power over a woman? They beat them. They scare them. They threaten them. Every single time. Every time. Toye is no different. If you're watching, Kick Vic, and I know you fucking pussies are, you're watching, pay attention. This is the piece of shit scumbag degenerate that you're jerking off every single day. Every single day. Listen to what he did. And oh, wouldn't it be embarrassing if a court held that these facts were true after a hearing? Oh my God, wouldn't that be embarrassing? Guess what? You won't find out if they did or not today, but you probably will tomorrow, won't you? Won't you? So, a shout out, a personal shout out to someone who, on their own initiative, without my request, sent this to me. And before you idiots on Kickvic say, oh, he got these from Ty. No, I did not. I did not get these from Ty. But guess what I did the first thing after I read them? I sent them to him immediately. Immediately.
Okay, that was Ty. Sorry, not Ty. That was Nick. My mistake. Going on about how he got a personal favor done by somebody that wasn't him. Totally wasn't him. It was totally somebody else. We'll get to that in a bit. Like, this is all leading up to something. But there's Nick talking about Ron Toye's personal history and personal past. Now, there's two issues with this. The first issue is this doesn't help Vic's case one iota. Even Ty Beard has said on the record that this is not important. We did not include this in the case because it's not helpful. I know that certain lawyers like Greg Doucette said that it would help in a deposition, for example, but Ty is an incompetent moron when it comes to depositions. And besides that, the deposition phase for Ron Toye is over. In addition, the other thing that's wrong about this is, what is the evidence that Nick Rekieta is using against Ron Toye? He's using a couple of court cases with mixed results that relies on the word of a woman. Gee, somebody's word, the thing that Nick's been talking about that's been destroying like Vic Mignogna's reputation, he's using a family court trial or divorce proceedings or something like that. And he's using that as his evidence against Ron Toye. Wasn't that like his entire... Now, Vic Mignogna has had dozens of people come forward with allegations of sexual harassment, and we're supposed to believe none of them, despite the number of them. We're supposed to believe instead there was a giant conspiracy that all of them got together and decided to fuck with Vic. But one person or two people go ahead and make some claims against Ron Toye about being an abuser, a wife beater, and he's this giant monster. That's what Nick wants to portray Ron Toye as now. Isn't that interesting? The guy has no standards when it comes to this stuff. The guy just goes ahead. He'll just do a complete 180 once the position suits him. This is the example of the flagrant dishonesty that you're dealing with when it comes to Nick. And he continues with this theory. Now, there is a couple things I should say about the allegations about Ron Toye themselves. One, could this have bearing on Ron Toye's character? Could it show some kind of hypocrisy in the allegations he made against Vic? Yes, it could, but that's not really relevant here because Nick is supposedly covering a defamation case in which Vic Mignogna is supposed to cover damages. And it's also trying to say, well, he can't be correct. And he's also making this kind of a case where they both can't be shit. One of them has to be shit or the other one's shit. That's kind of retarded. And the other thing is, there is some other evidence besides the woman's word for some of the allegations of verbal threats or and verbal communications which are threatening, which are alarming. But again, Vic has said things that are disturbing as well, and Nick just brushes a blind eye to what Vic says and will even defend him. So it just comes across as hypocritical. That part comes across as hypocritical to me. But it gets worse than that because, you know, it does. Because here's another clip that on the same string.
In the beginning of our relationship, Ron was a perfect gentleman. Hey, Monica, is this true for you too? By the way, think about Monica in this. We might be wrong on Monica. There's been some speculation out there that Monica is actually acting out of fear. Monica, if that's true, ditch him. Ditch him immediately. Get yourself out of this. If you were pressured into this by Ron, if Ron put the fear of violence into you, if Ron shamed you, if Ron hurt you, I will apologize for everything I've ever said about you publicly and immediately. I will apologize for everything. And I bet you get out of this lawsuit in a heartbeat if you just admit that that's what happened. I don't know if that's what happened, but Monica, if you're out there and this sack of garbage is beating you or scaring you or threatening your friends, your family, your animals, whatever it is, you don't have to put up with that. You don't have to be dragged into a lawsuit. Especially if you know who Vic is. And I think you do. I think you know.
Well, that's a very passionate plea to Miss Monica Rial, the poor damsel in distress against the monster of Ron Toye. Is that what Nick? Does anyone buy that bullshit from Nick? This is what he had to say about Monica previously. I believe this is one here.
A public apology from Nick Rekieta for the name calling and harassment. That's what Chuck Huber is saying would be on board for, you disingenuous prick. And no, he didn't ask me, and I would never, ever in my life apologize to them. Not once would I apologize to them. If Vic came to me crying on his knees, asking me to apologize to Monica Rial, I would say, fuck Monica Rial. I will not apologize to them.
Oh, that's kind of embarrassing. It's almost like he flipped the script around the moment that it became convenient for him. Gee. Huh. Well, let's listen to the new narrative. Let's go back to the new narrative. We'll get back to a bit of the old one.
Listen, seriously, to all of you people who are supporting the victims, Occam's razor. Occam's razor. Vic's stories the stories about Vic, I should say, they don't add up. They don't add up because the way the defendants acted. Unless Ron is a monster, manipulated Monica, Marky's just stupid and went along to protect her friend, and Funimation has no idea because their investigation is garbage because their company is run like a 3-year-old bartering party. Okay? Ron Toye intimidating Monica to come out against Vic. Who else did he intimidate? He intimidated the twins? Twins never wanted to tell their story. Why didn't the twins want to tell their story? Did they know, they know about Ron? Why did it take him so long to tell that story? Did Ron force them to do that? Did Ron have control over the twins' job when they lived with them? What about Sarah? She scared of Ron too? Perfectly reasonable for them to be terrified of this guy. Whose kids did he threaten? Whose pets did he threaten? Whose careers did he threaten? Clearly willing to destroy Vic's, right? And why? How embarrassing is it? How embarrassing would it be if Ron went to destroy Vic's career simply because Vic kissed Monica 7 years before Ron and Monica met? Who does that sound like? Well, that sounds like Maddox. That sounds like something Maddox would do. Go after someone's career over something years ago when they weren't involved anymore. Right?
That's a very despondent Nick talking about how Ron, the evil mastermind behind the whole thing, he either threatened or tricked all the other people involved, especially poor Monica, whose only sin in this whole thing was wanting Vic Mignogna too much. That was it. That's what Nick Rekieta said then. This is something he said before. He didn't say it just once, but this is the clip I want to play.
Monica Rial wants Vic Mignogna dead. She wants him dead in the ground. I believe that 100% because I believe that Monica Rial has known Vic long enough to know what this would do to him. Monica Rial wants Vic Mignogna dead because she's a dumb, scandalous, nasty bitch.
Wow. Wow, a bit of a contrast there, isn't it? It's like he's spinning a narrative. It's like he's pushing bullshit just to string you guys along. That's amazing. Actually, it's not amazing at all if you've been following E-Celebs for the past ever at all. But, Nick, he's such a good, honest lawyer. We should trust what he says. But what does this have to do with the doxing server? I mean, Nick's a piece of shit. We know that already. What about the doxing? Well, remember what Nick said before. Nick said before is that someone did him the favor, someone did the legwork to get the information and dug up. And I hear in the chat, I see in the chat complain, there's no talk about the doxing stuff. I told you this is lead up. Let's go ahead and find another clip right here. And this will segue just nicely into the main subject we're talking about tonight.
So we've had a big, interesting day, I guess, in this world today. Some weird stuff came out. I don't know where from, about one of the defendants in your case. Now, we won't talk about that too much,
right.
but
well, I would like to do this. I would like to especially thank T. Greg Doucette for somehow managed to piss off somebody so bad that they went to the trouble to get all that. Well done, Greg. Well done.
Okay, I just gotta pause it here. Ty is so retarded with his takes. I mean, okay, so Greg Doucette pissed someone off, and he's thanking him for someone researching things that your paralegals should have taken care of months ago? Are you kidding me with this? Ty, you're just an incompetent, bumbling idiot who doesn't know how to file a defamation case. Like, that's the truth of the matter. And I got news for you, Ty. You better be covering your ass, because Nick's gonna turn on you the moment that things go south. Once these cases gets thrown out, he's going to need someone to blame. He can't blame the lawyers because they were right. He can't blame Vic because Vic's an angel. He can't blame himself because he's perfect. He's going to turn on you. He's going to stick his fans on you. He's going to say it's a falling out. He's going to bring up a whole bunch of irrelevant bullshit. Think about all the times that things were not so great between you and Nick, and I'm sure there's been plenty of them. And I'm sure that maybe this will get to Ty somehow. Ty, you better watch out. On the other hand, I think Ty's scum as much as Nick is, so fuck him.
And that somebody was JosephTX from the Kiwi Farms.
Yeah, Joseph, thank you. You did some work that we were going to have to do. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So
we were aware of that, and that was on our long list of due diligence that we were going to do in the case. That's just basic stuff you do. But
I like how he's trying to say that he knew the entire time about this stuff about Ron Toye's past. And then, in the same breath, he says, we were going to do the due diligence for this. Like, he just contradicted himself right in the same sentence. Brilliant work, Ty. Keep on lawyering.
But Joseph kept me from having to send somebody out there. Thanks, man.
Someone was asking me why did it take till now to find this or whatever? And I was explaining that you have a limited amount of bandwidth because you have a limited number of attorneys. You've got other matters that you're working on. You've got a limited amount of time. You've got a limited amount of money and resources to do all this stuff. And this one, from my understanding, required a physical trip to the Tarrant County Courthouse.
Yeah.
I don't know how your system works. Can you go to any county courthouse and tech?
Yeah, because guys, when you raised all that money for these guys, these chuckleheads, to go ahead and sue SJWs, they did actually, spend the money on resources and shit. What? Did you guys think that they were actually doing legwork? No, they were open about getting Kiwi Farms to go ahead and do the legwork for you so they could save some money. As in, Ty's pocketing it for his own personal gain, and he doesn't give a shit about you. Continuing.
access and pull these documents? Or?
You can, but you usually have to. When you're talking about case files like that, you have to go and it's physical, and typically, you'll assign a lawyer or a paralegal to that. And of course, we live, we're in Tyler, 2.5 hours, or
right,
from there. It's like a lot of things. You only look for the stuff that's going to help you right now. It was on our list. We were aware of it, and just as a matter of basic due diligence, we would have gotten around to it. But so I'll take the help.
But let's be clear, because let's get all the disclaimers out of the way. Did you, Ty Beard, send me any documents relating to the divorce of Ronald Toye?
Did not.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not certain that there's anything wrong with me doing that, but I didn't do it.
Yeah, I don't know that there would be either, but just so we're clear. And also, did I send you a bunch of files relating to the divorce of Ron Toye?
Oh my gosh darn it, I believe you did.
I absolutely did, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yep. They have been put in the appropriate receptacles in our filing system.
Okay, so people are asking, where's the doxing? You may have heard Ty and Nick kind of allude to some kind of dirty, nefarious things that they're totally not guilty of. This was just this JosephTX person that Nick mentioned. You heard him say that he publicly thanked JosephTX for his contributions that was posted on Kiwi Farms. You all heard that, right? Like, there's no way that, Nick would slip up because this JosephTX person is kind of a retard and admit to things that he shouldn't have. I mean, that wouldn't be the case, would it? I mean, it's not like there's a server that I'm monitoring actively and these retards spill the beans way too fucking often. Okay, let's just get down to the meat of it. So this is JosephTX. He's actually in Nick's Discord server, the pay-to-play Discord server, where you can actively dox people. And yeah, I'm showing what they're doing. Here we go. JosephTX enters the server on August 15th. I want you to keep that date in mind. JosephTX says, I'm here. 2 minutes later, Nick Rekieta himself says, welcome, Joseph. And Joseph says, oh shit, I had to double check to make sure it is the real you and not a bot. Low key, I feel like I've just doxed myself to Nick. Thus the doxer becomes the doxed. And Nick says, I don't ever even look. Now here's the thing about this. This implies that there's more of a conversation here that we're not privy to. Meaning Nick invited this guy here. Nick can try to wiggle around this all he likes. He's going to come up with like 10 different types of excuses. Maybe he'll try to fly two or three at once. And then he'll try to like sneak around it. But no, it's clear. Like, what would he be talking about? Oh shit, I had to double check to make sure it's the real you and not a bot. Low key, I feel like I've just doxed myself to Nick. Thus the doxer becomes a dox. That doesn't really make any sense here unless there's a prior history between these two individuals. That's the only explanation that makes sense. And we've seen Nick make up shit to get people out of trouble before. We know it, you know it, we all know it. Let's go down here. And why is that relevant, though? Who cares if they had a conversation before? It's not really important. Skip a few hours here. It's funny what you find looking for people. What did you find? Can't say just yet. Then why mention it? Because it's an active file. Go down a bit. Friend, if you're playing poker, do you show your cards? Yes, always. Oh, by the way, just a little heads up. There's a lot of people here who like have changed their names to like dox this and dox that, and like a lot of doxy jokes and references because, the joke is, oh, we're totally not doxing people, guys. That's not what we're doing. That's totally made up. Okay, like that's a conspiracy theory. We're not doxers. Okay, Nick said so. He doesn't dox people. He wouldn't have this going on in his server. All right. Continuing the conversation. You only show them cards and poker when the round is over. This is true. I don't have all my cards lined up yet. If I'm playing, this says a rather crude comment, I won't repeat here. Then he goes on, says some irrelevant shit. Going down here. Here he is laughing, says fucking Ron. Oh, what's this? That's really weird. Why is he showing people's marriage certificates? Huh. That's kind of weird. I could have sworn Nick said that he never doxes anybody. Huh, that's really fucking weird. And Joseph says, ooh, what's this, guys? Ron married 2 times? Weird, I've seen marriage licenses, but I never seen one like that before. Gives the dates. What county in Texas, because I can pull those up. I'm holding on to that because his ex-wives might be important to the case. Also, I have found his son. You get that? I have found his son. Yeah, he's not just looking into Ron Toye. He's looking into everybody's associated with Ron Toye, including his own child. Bravo, Nick. You're a wonderful... What a wonderful little magical place you have here. Here's JosephTX. Here's a picture of the kid that I've redacted. As you can see. Not there. Oh, I've seen his son before. Where? Facebook post I saw once. When digging up Ron's info. Yeah, I got a little buddy there. Going ahead, digging into people's past, right in Nick's Discord server. Oh, that's just hilarious. Yup, on Facebook. And that's him. Funny thing is, the son is apparently a Chad. Let me check, because this is new knowledge to me. Then again, I showed up late into all this. So they were doxed to death by the time I joined the party. That's like, this is the part where the laugh track in like a sitcom would play here. Probably should get a soundboard, but, you know, I gotta get at least one boomerism here tonight. So I guess, actually, it's just probably the 4th or 10th. So continuing. Continues on. Ron has a son. I think Kiwi Farms, which, by the way, Nick and Ty, they're totally separate from Kiwi Farms. They don't do any of this dirty shit. They're not like skeptics. They're not using third-party websites to get away with that. That would be hypocritical and wrong. Wow. Amazing. I think KF has the info also. What the fuck? Yes, Ron has a son. His other family must be proud. Oh man, they should do a DNA test. I suspect Ron is no longer Ron. I wonder if Ron's son... This is Keck, by the way. He's a community manager. Should point that out. I wonder if Ron's son has a lot of his father's genes in him. With how much of cuck he turned after meeting Monica. Guys, how did you never found this out? This is the first thing we found out about Ron. Goes on, showing more court papers. I redacted the name here in the photo there. Oh, it's his parents. That explains it. Parents. They must be proud of Soye. No, you said you never seen a Texas marriage license before. Because if it was Ron's, then it would be a lot different. Texas woman must be nuts. That's his parents. I said I'd never seen one like that before. The 2 I posted are Ron's. His father is also named Ronald? Ha ha ha. I thought Ron was married once before. Yes, hence Ron Toye the third. Who is the second, I wonder? I almost feel sorry for him. LOL. Yeah, just a little chuckle there, a little haha there, as they're actively digging into people and talking about it and comparing notes and contrasting. Yeah, see, this is the kind of stuff that goes on in Nick Rekieta's Doxing server. This is the stuff that he encourages, that he promotes, etc. This is what occurs. And you guys are like, oh, that doesn't happen. And like half of you are from Nick's Discord server. And that's what makes it so funny. It's like right here, black and white. It's like I made the joke about like the Joker just killing someone. You just say, haha, that's funny. But here it is. It's almost like that minus the murder. Continuing. Yes, I looked at yes, but I just looked him up and found 2 marriage licenses. I can't, and then he says, I can't find her, referring to someone else in his, that is related to. In depth, he said he only had 1 wife, if I recall, etc. I think Beard asked, has he been married before? And he said yes. And Beard asked why they divorced. He never asked about multiple marriages. Yeah, see, even though Joe's kind of an idiot, and I'll get to that. Even though Joe is kind of an idiot, the reality is, even he's able to point out that Ty fucked up that deposition. Like, Ty could have asked a million questions to Ron Toye that he just completely failed at, and he didn't land a single hit. Continuing. Continuing down here. If I knew what county in Texas, then I could find it. Maybe one ended so quick it was annulled. The first one he created offspring. I don't know what happened to the second one. I mean, do you expect Ron to recall all the way back to the past of his way back past his last ex-wife? Knew about his son, shocking in my opinion. Wrong avatar pick, by the way. What do you mean? It just goes on with some other bullshit. Talks about previous locations he's been, like New York City, which is a common enough place. Then he goes on to this very specific place here. Problem, it's in the Panhandle. Again, more of this back and forth, comparing, contrasting notes, looking up on Nick's enemies, people that he's got an issue with, axes to grind with. I mean, it's just amazing. It's, again, this stuff doesn't fucking change. Like, you got the I called Nick a skeptic before, and the reason I called him that, some people took issue with that. That's fine. Maybe that's not technically the correct, accurate term, but there is a reason I did call him that. He has the same attitudes and behaviors. He tries to come up with this big-brained, intellectual, this noble guy with all this cause, and then you just turn you just go ahead, you turn the little thing, you turn the curtain back just a peek, and you see all this dirty shit everywhere. And then you got, like, everyone just praising him because nobody questions him because he's going after blue-haired SJWs. Like, that's the reality. Do you think that Sargon was the only one doing this? Like, do you think that for a minute? That was just Sargon, the crowd, and it was just a few skeptics, that's it. No, it's like you gotta be skeptical of these YouTubers constantly. Otherwise, they will fuck you. That is what they do. It's kind of like what a lot of people have been trying to point out, but I don't think the message has really sunk in yet. And the fact that Nick, during when the skeptics were on the downfall, when the Kumatards were getting blown the fuck out, when the blood sports people were getting the correct treatment because they have dirt on them too, and their skeletons came out in the open, and they doubled down, and their egos got in the way, and they had all those faults. Yeah, they got what they deserved. And it continues like this because, I don't know, like, you can't make exceptions. You cannot have sacred cows. I mean, speaking of, like, cow, I really wish 8chan wasn't down. Cows serve as a good counterbalance to this stuff because people could go ahead and talk about this without having to be, like, hounded down and out by, like, these legions of fans who admire these e-celebs. And that's something I'll talk to more in a bit, probably towards the end of the stream. I just want to keep showing this. Show some of the public records office. Here's where you can contact people to find out more information. You know, again, as part of this doxing server, I should point out. Continues. Let's see. Is this all important to read over? There go more notes compared back and forth. Talking about how licenses changed in the 80s, 90s. Again, you know, just your typical average Discord things. You know, oh, we want to talk about the latest, like, these guys. Okay. Skimming over this real quick. Having trouble finding the second wife. Another facets in Ron Toye's life. And by the way, the whole thing is with this, like, Ron Toye is a political enemy of Nick. He's someone that is in the way and he wants to destroy. He said it himself that he set up the GoFundMe just to grind these people into dust. I'll probably play that before the stream ends again because it's a good clip. And it just speaks to the motivation of this whole thing. Like, what's Nick doing going on spurging about Funimation making some background jokes? What's with Funimation going on about, what's with Nick going on about, like, you know, cancel culture and stuff like that. Nick doesn't care about the anime community. Nick doesn't care about the convention scenes. Nick doesn't care about any of that stuff. What Nick cares about is getting an audience for himself. And he's doing this because he's two things that are very, very dangerous. One, he's a YouTuber, and two, he's a lawyer. You can't trust either of those types of people. You can't. They will fuck you, and they will keep fucking you over and over again. All right, so let's go down a bit. Let's see. Is there anything else worth talking about with these? You know, at this point, I think I've demonstrated the point. Like, here's some more things that he's posted, and there's more screenshots of this guy doing dirty shit like this that I'll gladly post and talk about. I'll just leave this in the chat, and I'll even put this in the description. There you go. And there's also some other weird coincidences that I'm sure Nick has, like, a reasonable explanation for that is in no way bullshit. Some more filings of paperwork and stuff like that. Company names that Ryan used to work at. Shit like that. Going over every detail they can find and land their hands on. Just to appease the daddy e-celeb. It's funny. They just... Like, this... And that's another thing. Like, this hero-worshipping bullshit, it needs to stop. Like, stop admiring these people as being more than people. Like, yes, some of them make good content. Some of them make you laugh. Some of them do good stuff. Like, even Nick isn't completely totally wrong about absolutely everything. And that's fine if you like their stuff. And it's even fine if you want to support them and they want to make money off of it. That's not the problem. The problem is people admire them to a degree that is not good for them. That's not beneficial. Like, it leads them to a point where they're doing things for the e-celeb that they would otherwise not ordinarily do, that they go ahead and just do it anyway because it's for the cause or it's for them or it's to gain their favor, which is what I've been trying to point out with Nick going about cracking jokes about all this doxing shit and, like, encouraging people to dig up information on these guys actively. And he doesn't ban it. And the thing is, no, that's just that those things that, oh, it's just jokes, it's ironic humor. No, it's not. This demonstrates it's not ironic because it's actively occurring on Nick's Discord server that you have to pay to get in. I mean, like, there's no other way about it. And again, there's a couple of other funny things. Because I showed how this Joe Texas guy is a doxer. He's a doxer that's closely linked to Nick. Nick publicly thanked him for his activities. There's indication that they had prior communications before he even joined the server, which means that Nick invited him in there to do his dirty shit for him. Nick allows him to do this stuff inside his server. But why am I calling him an idiot? Well, there's a funny story. There's a reason I'm calling him an idiot. This guy called Doxban asks, Are you a super autistic Kiwi, or are you just someone important, IRL, with special access somehow? Also cool. And then Joseph responds, she was actually my downfall because Kiwi Farms is banned in Australia. I went and notified her. She was doxed and managed to connect the dots to my docs. This is... Okay, so there's something missing. Okay, so admittedly, this part here doesn't really make a lot of sense. But, no, it does make sense. My apologies. There is a bit of context missing here that makes me lead to... I'm not sure what he's talking about here, but that's okay. That's not important to the part I'm about the show. Also, if you're in Austin, I'll buy you a beer for the lulz. Welcome to Kelly's next stream with that quote, LOL. Well, you called that one, Keck. You called it. You could have done something about it, but you called it. Congratulations. And then he responds to Doxban with, extremely autistic Kiwi. Well, at least he's honest. He is an extremely autistic Kiwi. And then Doxban responds with, nice. And then Joseph says, I forgot I had my real Facebook connected to that username. Yeah. Kind of a shitty doxer where you can't even protect your own information like that. Rip. Then he gets aware that and then he says, Keck says, Kelly has a huge boner for Joseph at the moment. Does he? Yes. Nobody told me. Well, now you know. Were you the one that made us a doxing server? No, dude, no. There was lots of doxes before that, and and the only reason I haven't showed like every single one of them yet is because there's so many to sift through. I got to edit them down to show them on YouTube because you guys link to people's threads on Kiwi Farms that shows all of their home addresses, all of their personal shit, without any regard to anything that you're sharing. So, yeah, you were a doxing server way before this guy showed up. And then he goes on about that. But here's the interesting bit. I went to go dox him and found out 8chan already doxed him during Gamergate. Huh, isn't that something? Now, I told you remember the date of when he came in the server. We'll take a look at that over there. Go down a bit. He came in the server August 15th. Here's his exchange with Nick Rekieta, welcoming him graciously into the server with a little allusion to a private conversation that they had before. And this was August 15th. Now, what about this whole doxing of me thing? That thing he just mentioned right there. Well, the funny thing about that is, like, I still had this link saved. The whole thing with Spectre starting his whole smear campaign where he lied about me maliciously to try to ensure that I wouldn't get on Nick's show because that'd be a problem for Spectre for some autistic reason. And this guy, the same guy who highlighted where my dox is, that was August 12th, just a few days prior. And then, and remember, Nick participated in this by promoting Spectre's little poll. Isn't that something? Now you have two guys that have actively sought me out to try to run me off the internet. And they're both in Nick's little Discord server, one after the other. Did Nick purposely seek this guy out because of the hit job he did on me? Did Spectre whisper in Nick's ear to go ahead and find this guy? I wouldn't put it past them. I really wouldn't. And again, you can't fucking trust these people. You can't. That's the truth of the matter. If you trust YouTubers, you're an idiot. I don't know how else to explain this to you. It happens over and over again. And then you keep on wondering, oh, I got all these knives in my back. How do I get all these knives in my back? Well, you trusted the YouTuber. And you did it so many times that you need to get spinal surgery. Now, why does any of this matter? Why, and there's also a couple of other things. Particularly insidious about this individual. This is an image he shared on the server as well. Him and his DMs with Ron Toye. Apparently, Toye went ahead and reached out to this Joseph fellow. And let's just take a look at those DMs real quick. So this is Ron Toye, his protected account. By the way, I believe this is legit. I believe he got banned from the Kiwi Farms because of this. I'll have to double check it to make sure of that. And that's also kind of hilarious that you get banned from Kiwi Farms. There's something just funny about that. But regardless, Ron says here, on the documents, my son's social is on there. I would appreciate you not putting that anywhere as he is a minor. I have no problem with those documents being read on YouTube as long as they redact his info. How long will you be in town? I can meet you in Houston. I am down there often. Now, I don't know what Ron's planning with a meetup with him. That sounds kind of retarded. Why would you meet someone on the internet who's out to fuck with you and who's crazy enough to go to all these different locations just to accomplish it? Going down here, he responds with, well, Mr. Toy, it's kind of hard to hide that considering he literally has the same exact name as you. Not really worried about the name. It's more about his social security number. Yeah, so let's get this straight. This guy he's digging up kids' social security numbers. He's finding out anything he can about them just because they happen to be the spawn of someone he doesn't like. You know, it's real funny. Real fucking funny. Let's go ahead and it's really kind of fucking insidious and hypocritical of Nick in particular. Because Nick's a dad himself. And the thing about Nick... Let's see. Plus this right here. Nick has kids. He doesn't hide it. And he goes ahead...
So it's ringing a little hollow.
And I want you to pay attention to this real quick. There's a reason I'm playing this. I'll get to that.
Ringing a little hollow. Mahalo or whatever. Where are we? Oh my goodness. I'm getting things set up here. Still. Yeah, they're mad about a certain term that I used on Twitter. I used the term chimp out. What are you doing in here? Don't say names. Your sister.
My sister's crying. He wants my youngest to...
Well, you guys don't have you don't sleep in the same room. Well, is she going to be okay, or do I need to go deal with that? Okay. All right, I have to go deal with a sibling issue. I'll be right back.
Okay, so to answer a question from the chat, no, I did not dox Nick Rekieta's kid's voice. Nick Rekieta's had his kids on stream before. If you watch a 24-hour stream, he has them there. So that's already out there. So there's nothing going on here where I'm going about releasing a kid's voice that the parents didn't want to be released at all. If he's using them as a commodity, there's no doxing involved. And he's using them to promote his streams. So again, it's just the kid's voice. Further, second point. You guys are getting upset over me playing a clip of Nick's kid's voice. Now, if someone was going about finding out these kids' social security numbers, their real names, and other personal bits of information like that, if that was the thing, if that was what they were going after, would Nick care that, oh, well, the doxer didn't... the doxer, when I asked him nicely and I pleaded with him, he didn't release... Guys, he didn't release the social security number, so that makes it okay. No, Nick would be fucking furious, and Nick would have every fucking right to be furious at those people. 100%. So, why Nick allows this under his own fucking roof in a private Discord server after condemning Kraut for doing similar actions, and after he says on the record that he says shit like this, let me go ahead and find it.
It up because people keep mentioning it in the chat.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I really, it's humbling.
Okay, so here we...
I'm going to make you laugh.
Documents, donation, and accounting information concerning the Vic Kicks Back GoFundMe campaign found at this URL. Well, I'll be interested if anyone else on this list can produce the accounting information concerning Vic Kicks Back, but, you know, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Your communications to any person which you exchange personal or identifying information. Listen to this. This is my favorite one. Are you ready for this?
Okay, I'm ready.
Your communications to any person in which you exchanged personal or identifying information concerning the defendants in the lawsuit, any witnesses to Mignana's behavior at fan conventions, and any individuals who testify in the lawsuit. This request specifically includes your communications, emails, texts, and direct messages / posts to individuals associated with Kiwi Farms and the Rising Bull Rangers.
I never even heard of the Rising Bull Rangers. I know Kiwi
that's
Farms.
Vic's fan club. That's Vic's fan club. So they're saying, who did you dox and when did you dox them and who did you dox them to? Let me get off this thing for just a second. Let me make this perfectly clear.
Yeah, get in there.
Hey, dummies. I have stated publicly over and over and over that I do not dox people. I don't have personal identifying information on any of these morons other than what you filed. That's it. And I haven't actually shared it with anybody. ever, how dare you suggest that the Kiwi Farms needs help from someone like me to dox someone? How dare you, you dumb, miscalculating pile of trash. You don't understand what you're talking about. So when you get the response, if you win your stupid motion to get the court to make me produce this, let me just preview it for you. There are none, you idiots. I don't dox people. You do. You do. You did that, not me. So when you ask for my secret communications with the Kiwi Farms, oh my God, I should maybe just produce the communications I have with any Kiwi Farms member, even though they wouldn't relate to doxing, just for the sheer volume of them calling you stupid cucks that would exist. So that you would have to read, Casey Eric is a stupid cuck from someone who's not me. From someone who's, and believe me, that is the most polite insult that they have for you, you stupid cuck. So I have not communicated with any Kiwi Farms member, to my knowledge, with any, I certainly haven't given out any identifying information, because I don't do that. I've said it over and over. And if you think you're going to catch me in some sort of weird lie on it, that now I have to produce it, I can't. There isn't anything. I don't lie in public. You guys do, not me, and your clients do. I don't have to. I'm on the side. Maybe you haven't figured this out yet. You're arguing against the side of truth. People who don't have to hide behind lies, we're on this side. The truth has always been on this side. You deal in a realm of liars, spurgs, and morons. I know you're used to a bunch of it. That's your baggage. Sorry, buddy. That's the ropes.
Yep, that's Nick lying his ass off, as you can clearly see, as I clearly demonstrate in this stream. The thing is, in a technical sense, he's not even lying. He's lying by omission. Because what Nick is doing is he's promoting and encouraging all of his fans, he's using his audience, his influence, to go ahead and encourage them and put the idea in their heads to go ahead and take action that is beneficial to him. He's using that admiration that e-celebs get to themselves, because a lot of these people, a lot of them are shut-ins, a lot of them are neats, a lot of them are just weirdos. A lot of people who speak up and are vocal about this shit, they're weird, autistic, spurgy weirdos. That's what it is at the end of the day. And when you get down to it, a person in that situation can easily be influenced by someone who seems larger than life. Now, these people are not larger than life in any way. What they do is just a combination of luck and network faggotry and a few other factors, but it's very, very simple things that they're very, very good at. And they go ahead and they build up their brand, they build up their audience, and they're able to get away with shit like that. And yeah, I realize that, I'm not exactly a normal person myself. That's kind of the joke here. Further. It's basically, the best way I could show it, it's basically like this comic here. And I love this comic because it illustrates the point probably better than I could ever explain it. You got two guys here. One guy's got a gun. One guy's all nice and puts on a smiley face. He says to give him $20. He's like, what, are you mugging me? He's like, oh, no, we're not doing that. And he's just asking for $20, guys. And then he says to the gunman, oh, what do you want? And then he points to the gun and says, I demand you give him $20. And he says, please understand, I do not condone this guy's actions. He does not represent me. But you should probably do as he says. Nick is positioning himself to be that guy. He's putting himself in that position in order to set these scenarios up where he personally benefits from other people and they're doing their own shitty behavior. Like the guy pointing a gun, asking for $20. Of course, it's not to the same degree as shown in this comic. Like, I don't think Nick's actually hiring people to actually exploiting murders or killings or whatever. But the fact is, when it comes to this dirty shit that everyone had a problem with Kraut doing, that everyone had a problem with Sargon doing, that everyone had the skeptics are doing, yeah, Nick's guilty of that. Or if not that directly, of very, very similar antics. By the way, I gotta give a special shout out to Spectre. You've been in the chat for the past 6 streams, and I even saw you at one point spurting out that I wouldn't face you or debate you or whatever. Spectre, just come on here. I'll take you on here anytime. I threw the challenge down. You can come here and you can debate me if you like. But I don't think you'd win. I don't think it would end up good for you. I'll just give you that warning. Alright. I think that wraps everything up, though. Because, again, Spectre is a little bitch, and he's not going to show up. But yeah, the next time someone praises Nick as this honest guy, this really good guy, just remember, he's not. He's not. And if you think he is, you just fell for his dumb tricks. Alright. I'm going to see if there's any worthwhile comments in the chat. I know most of y'all are Nick fans, so a lot of you are going to change your mind. Maybe one or two of you were convinced. Maybe some of you saw through some of Nick's bullshit here. Again, I don't know if people... I'm pretty sure people are just memeing at this point. I'm not doxing Nick's kids by showing a clip that is up on Nick's channel that has his kid come on stream, that is publicly available, that anyone can watch. It's literally content that he put up and left on his channel, and no personally identifying information is said in that clip. We got a big brain intellectual here saying, still saw no doxing. That's adorable. I applaud you for your big brain take there. It's not doxing. Oh, Inspector says, don't believe YouTubers, guys, but ignore that when it comes to me. Spectre, you're retarded. If you think that don't trust YouTubers means that you should never, ever, ever adhere to any kind of YouTuber's advice whatsoever, you're just retarded. That's all I can really describe it. It's a general statement meaning that, in general, by default, you shouldn't trust them. So if you want a more technical explanation of that, there you go. Why would I stream on this shit? Because you're a loser, Spectre. You create no good content. It's why you've been focused on me for the past several weeks. Because you know you're a loser, you know you're shit, you know you've never done anything good in your life, and you're just a faggot. That's all I really have to say about you, Spectre. In fact, I don't even think it's worth me having you on my show at this point. Alright, that wraps things up. I hope you all found this entertaining. Maybe some of you found it enlightening. And again, if I can convince just one or two of you, I win. That's all I need. I don't need to convince everybody. So... y'all have a good night. Remember, Nick's a liar. He uses people to go ahead and do his bidding for him, and then he takes advantage of it. Things that he claims to he presents as being morally reprehensible. Things he denies ever doing himself. But he likes being the guy who takes advantage of it for sure. Alright, that wraps things up. Have a good night, and peace out.